Thank you. Okay, because it's already 5 minutes have been gone. Maybe I will start the session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to say welcome to Guest Lecture 2023, and I would like to say a big thank you for Professor Associate Nur Haslinda Kamarudin for being a guest speaker in here. But first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Fikri Maulnazis. I am from Information System Study Program 2022, and I will be the master of ceremony at this session. Okay, but I will tease you and tell you some things about this session today. The first of all, there will be I would like the first thing first. I will read the CV from Associate Prof. Professor Dr. Nur Haslinda Kamarudin, and after that, the professor will 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 present her presentation, and after that, there will be a Q&A session for all the participant. For all the participant, are pleased to and welcome to say some question in the chat box, or you can directly turn on your microphone and ask a question. And after the lecture, there will be a photo session. So I would like to say, please, for all of the participants to turn on your camera and uh, for about 1 minute to have a photo sessions. And at the end of the class, there will be a presence and a feedback form uh, that for all the participants and must fill that form so that the participant will get the e-certificate. Okay, before I started the session, I would like to read the curriculum vitae of Professor Nur Haslinda Kamarudin. Okay, I will tell you a little bit about Associate Professor Dr. Nur Haslinda Kamarudin. So the biography Associate Professor Dr. Nur Haslinda Kamarudin holds the post of Associate Professor the Faculty of Computer of Mathematical Science, University Technology Mara, or UITM Malaysia. She has served UITM since 2011 and until now. And she was also an adjunct professor in the Faculty of Science and Technology, University Airlangga, Indonesia, 2020. Currently, she is under sabbatical leave after security prestigious Fulbright Malaysian Visiting Scholar Award granted by U.S. Department of State in University of Nevada at Reno, starting on 1st January 2022 until 30 June 2022. He is also responsible for conducting teaching for graduate students for the course entitled Effective Computing in Special Topic Track, and she is also involved in research and knowledge sharing. I think that's all for the short biography from Associate Professor Nur Haslinda Kamarudin. For the all of the biography, you could read it at this link. And for the next agenda, there will be a presentation from Professor Dr. Nur Haslinda Kamarudin. So the professor, the time and screen is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. MC, Mr. Fikri, I think. Okay, first and foremost, good afternoon, perhaps, good morning. It is 10:51 in Surabaya, but I think in Malaysia it is actually 11:51 in Kuala Lumpur, in Shah Alam. So let me share my slide, and then I will share sound and optimize for video clip as well, because I do have video clip so that I want to share with you guys. And then let's start. Right. So today the title that I'm going to have sharing with you is Sentiment Analytics for Product Session. I think your title of your subject is Kewirausahawanan which is entrepreneurship. So I think this is very much related to your subject. So that's why I want to actually share a bit of my knowledge on sentiment analytics, especially on product selection. This project actually is one of the Scriptsy project, final year project. I think you call it Scriptsy, of my student. And then we do explore few things looking at product selection. So before we start, I want to ask you this question. I think this is the most important question that we need to bear in mind. So as a Malaysian, right, when I go to Bandung, I will go to Pasar Baru. They have like 6 stories of Pasar Baru. So I, as a Malaysian, what I will do, I will go from the top to the bottom. So that is normal. And then if but I shouldn't tell you the answer yet. But let us, your opinion. What do you think that Malaysian love most? So this is like, if you ask any of the Malaysian, typically will answer this. Is it exercise? Do you think that Malaysian love to exercise? The answer is probably not, because Malaysian is one of the most obese people. I'm not proud of this. I'm not proud of that when Malaysian the most obese people in Asian, but that's the fact. Let's face the fact. Oh, Malaysian love to eat. Yes, that is absolute. For example, if we are going to talk about rendang, I think Malaysian and Indonesian will start quarreling whose rendang is the best. I think both rendang are the best. I just love rendang. And we can actually quarrel with each other to determine whose rendang is the best. But if anyone else outside the country, for example, the UK, will start telling us rendang supposed to be crispy, Malaysian and Indonesian will be combined and fight with the UK because we just love our food. But that may not be the most thing that Malaysian love. Or is it going for traveling? This is another thing that we love. Actually, last week is a break week for UiTM. So most of my students, they told me that, Doctor, we are going healing. Healing means, I think all of you know what is healing, right? So basically, they want to go out and take a break from all this hustle and bustle of life. They want to actually take a breather. But some of them even hilang after the first week of, after this week. After that week, they extend their holiday. My class is actually on Monday. So some of them are missing on Monday. So instead of healing, they hilang for a while. But actually, to tell you the truth, we just love shopping. So shopping is the most, I think, hobby that Malaysians just love. As I said, if I go to Bandung, I will go from the first story to the 6th story, just going, doing window shopping, looking at things. Or even if I go to Jakarta, to Mangga Dua, Tanah Abang. So those are places that I just love to go. I may not buy anything, but I just love seeing things over there. And because of the air condition as well, because the weather is very hot. So one of the things that people, not only Malaysian, I think Indonesian also love to do is actually shopping. And we can see that the trend are changing. Instead of we are doing physical shopping, we are also doing online shopping. And this is very prominent, just to tell you how prominent it is, especially during the pandemic. During the pandemic, you cannot go out. And you try to lease the movement outside so that you will not mingle around with a lot of people. So this is basically from the year of 2020. So the year of 2020 until the year of 2021, I said, Malaysia and Indonesia the same, I think. We just go online shopping. We need the things, we need the food, we need whatever things that we need to. So what we do, we order online. So when we order online, there are things that we cannot do as normal shopping. For example, if physical shopping, you can go to the shop, you can talk to people, you can ask for discount, you can actually bargain, or you can touch the product that you want to buy. You can actually see, turn the fruit. For example, if I want to buy an apple, I can turn the apple around, see whether it is good or not. But when we do online shopping, we cannot do all that. We just can see the picture of the product. And the picture can be deceiving. And then what else that we go and see? So later we are going to discuss about that. And then we want to actually see how sentiment analytics can be used for our online shop. So this is the most popular website in Malaysia. Actually, I checked this last 2 nights actually. That Shopee, I think Indonesia have Shopee as well. So this is what we use most, Shopee and Lazada. And basically, you will see this kind of interface. I'm not sure whether the Indonesia will see the same interface as Malaysian, but I think both countries have Shopee. I think Singapore have it too, if I'm not mistaken. And we just love Shopee. Why? Because it gives us a lot of things. It tell us to play game. It give us free coin. So you should know, I am a very avid online shopper. I just love, as I said, I just love shopping, and I also love online shopping because the price is basically cheaper if you go and buy physical shopping. So this is the interface of Shopee, and to tell you how well I am on internet shopping. So this is basically in 2019, where the height of internet shopping. So I do have, Ministry of Shopping Malaysia, I do have degree on this. So I am actually logging the top 8% and top 100 to claim the voucher, and top 1% to have a perfect deal bargain. I just enjoy doing this. So this need a skill. What skill are needed? So let's look at it. And then I prove it again in 12/12. I got A plus for my Shopee. If only I can translate this to my PhD, I already have now I have one PhD. If I do have this Shopee PhD, I think I may have another PhD in my credibility, credition. So that is how, what I call it. Shopping is something fun. You just love to do it. And just to show you, this is the overall for 2019 that I start shopping online on 7th of January 2019. So from here, I will not turn back anymore. Just go forward. Buy. So why you want to do online shopping? As I said, because they offer a lot of coins. They offer a lot of discount. They offer a lot of voucher. And sometimes they give you free shipping. And sometimes you can get it even earlier if you go for buying. For example, they do have a lot of shop over there. So online shopping basically is your life. I mean, you can do it late at night when the shop already closed. So when you just tired coming back from the office, what you do? You lie down, take your phone, and then what you do? Start scrolling. What are the voucher available? That's number one. And number two, I do have a habit to add to cart whatever that I like. Just put it there. And if the time are right, the platform will give me a lot of voucher. Not only they give me a lot of voucher, they will give me cashback as well. And then they will give me coins on top of that. So it can be safer rather than going outside and buy things physically. But as I said, both shopping have their own benefit. Both shopping has their own things that you like. For example, for food, I still love to go and buy it physically. But for things like my hijab, my clothes, soap, things that I use for my house, oil, so I may just buy online because it's cheaper and it's more convenient for me. I don't have to carry all the heavy product around. I mean, I can actually ask people to send it to my house directly rather than for me going out, put it on my card, paying, and then coming back to home. So as I said, because of pandemic, the behavior of people change as well. So previously, a lot of people don't trust online transaction, but because there is a necessity to use online transaction, especially for shopping, so people start to use more frequently. People start to trust the system a bit, but be careful. There's a lot of scammer outside there, but that is another topic to discuss. But what I'm saying here is that Malaysian love to shopping, and one of the way to shop is actually online. And when we do have online shopping, I actually changed from Shopee to TikTok. Why? Because TikTok give a better shopping experience, a lot of life, a lot of again vouchers, a lot of the price is very very cheap, and I think there is no more TikTok shop in Indonesia if I'm not mistaken. I think last month, if I'm not mistaken, last month or last 3 weeks, Indonesia already closed all the TikTok shop in Indonesia. It is very pity, but that is how the disruption of technology to us. Because by having TikTok shop, the physical shop cannot really function as normal because a lot of people just buy their things using TikTok shop. And that can be a threat to a physical shop because people don't want to go to physical shop because the price is higher. People want to go to TikTok shop because it's cheaper. That's number one. It is convenient. You can just sit at your home, very comfortable, and buy things. But unfortunately, Indonesia already closed TikTok shop, and I hope that the seller in TikTok shop in Indonesia are doing okay because it's not an easy decision to make. Yeah. So just to tell you how we do shopping actually. So this is something that I always buy. Why I buy this? Because my cat eat this. I have 10 cats at home. Because of that, the cost is not that cheap. So I'm using this brand to give my cat some food, their kibbles. So how do I detect whether this seller is fake or not? So usually we will go to their page and then we will see the star given. The star given is over here. So this seller is getting 4.7 stars and the rating of 728. And this shop already sold this product for 1,800. So it's a lot of cat food being sold. And then they even have the bundle deals and so on. So that is how we actually start to know whether this shop sells things or not, whether the price is good or not. So of course, to see whether the price is good or not, we will see whether how many percent that we get off, whether this shop give coin to us, how many people already bought, because if this much means a lot of people have go and buy cat food from this shop. And then what will we do after this? Not only we see the stars, number of products sold, the price, and where it is shipped, of course. Why we want to know where it is shipped? Because if it is shipped from China, for example, it will take some time. So if you want to use the product ASAP, as soon as possible, you want it to be sent locally. But if you don't mind waiting, for example, Shopee have a lot of China seller. If you don't mind waiting, fine, you can buy from China or somewhere else. But if you want it immediately, almost immediately, so you want to buy local. And then not only that, we will read product rating. So product rating given here is 4.7 out of 5. Not bad, right? But of course, you have to check further whether this is correct rating or not. So how to check whether this is correct rating or not? We start reading the review. So for example, this example, cheap quality food thanks to seller clearance sale. My cat was so happy. Fast delivery too. Okay, this guy or girl, we do not know, is happy with the product. However, if we go to the next comment or next review, you can see that some people are not happy. So please avoid buying from this seller suspected fake product. The keyboards are different, and even supported by this is another buyer saying that suspected fake product. So again, you will filter all this information based on the information given by another seller, by another buyer. Why you want to do that? Because you want to make sure that you are not being scammed. Because you do not see the product. So if you cannot see, you can only see the pictures, the description, that's all. But how are you going to know whether the product are good? So you read the review. This is where we start to have the sentiment. Sentiment is something that refer to opinion, attitude, or emotion in response to a particular situation, event, person, or piece of information. In this example, these are the sentiment towards the cat food. So how we get the sentiment? So this is basically people expressing their opinion. Oh, they think and they believe that the product are not actual product. That is fake product. So because of that, they are actually telling other people. And because human interact more by telling people of what they think so that we can understand them better. So of course, this is a subjective aspect of human communication that reflect feeling and attitude of individual or group. For example, the first buyer just now just love the product. The product is good, the cat eat well, the price are cheap, so they can save money. But the other two are saying that the product are fake. They don't like it. Please ban this seller. So we, as the new customer, we need to actually consider this. Which one is better? Should I try and pay and see? Or should I listen to who? So that is very subjective. Things that you like, somebody else may not like. So it is very much dependent on individual or a group. So it can be positive, negative, or neutral, or combination of these two, positive and negative, and it plays a crucial role in shaping human behavior, decision making, and social interaction. So usually, have you heard about a bird with same flock, with same feather flock together, which means that we will be together with people with the same value, with the same sentiment with us. That is a human characteristic. And because of that, we are trying to use this information to aid us to make decision. Because otherwise, it will be very difficult to make decision if you do not know. So we want to know, for example, you go to the class, you listen to the lecturer. Of course, you will ask your friend, wait, lecturer ni best tak? Is it worth my time going to her class? Or kita cari lecturer lain lah? She's no good. So the information sharing is basically the sentiment. So the individual, if they like the lecturers, they will be positive. If they don't feel anything, okay lah, not bad, that is neutral. Or negative, wait, you should not go to her class. It's so boring. You will kill yourself, for example, yeah? So that is negative sentiment. So sentiment is actually the opinion, or the emotion or the attitude to respond to things that are being asked. So there are a lot of factors that influence sentiment. The first one is subjectivity. So as I said, how you feel to one things may be different from other people's that feel that that may not be what they want. For example, I love blue, so I wear blue every day, for example. But some people, they just love pink. So it is very subjective. Of course, if you ask me what color that I like, of course I will say blue. But someone else who love pink, they may not say blue is their favorite color. So this is very subjective. It reflects to your individual, your opinion, and you do have different opinion on things. How these changes are because of experience, belief, and perspective. So some people will say, recently we have Coldplay concert in Kuala Lumpur. Some people who believe that concert is bad will say it is negative to have a concert in Kuala Lumpur. But somebody who love Coldplay, they will say it's a good thing to happen in Kuala Lumpur. So they may say it is positive. But people who don't care, whatever, I don't go and watch concert, whether you are here, you are not here, it doesn't really affect me. You may have neutral opinion of having concert in Kuala Lumpur. So that is actually very much dependent on your experience, your belief, and your perspective. So I just show you some examples. Seeing this picture, some people may say that it gives a melancholic feeling, a loneliness, very sad feeling like that. But some people will say, oh, this is nice. I love sunset. So see, or some people, I don't care, it's just a picture, so what? So even a picture can give you three different sentiments. It can be negative because it seems lonely somehow, or it can be positive because you love sunset and this is a nice picture, or you just don't care. Then it will be a neutral sentiment, or even this. So suppose these are supposed to be positive. Why? Because we are actually showing a little bit color here from the monotonous things. So as I said, it is very much dependent on your view of things. So some people may view things differently than you, but it is okay because we are supposed to have our own opinion. Or even this, some people who love going to the jungle or a scenery like this, just soothing to the heart. But some people just hate it. I want aircon, for example. So this can give negative sentiment. So another one that we need to actually consider is expressiveness, because people just love to express their opinion, their emotion, and then how are you going to actually tell people about how you feel? So a lot of medium, you can actually use your body language, you can talk about it, you can write, you can have facial expression, and so on. And how you want to write. And of course, the most coveted media should be social media. We are using our WhatsApp, for example. Wait, don't buy this product. These products are very bad. It's expensive. Or the food are worse. Don't go and eat rawon setan in certain shop because it's just too hot and the taste lousy. So those are the sentiment, or those are the information being shared among us, not only on WhatsApp, but we use TikTok, we use Instagram, we use Facebook, we use IG to actually tell about how we feel about certain things. And of course, this is very much depending on the cultural and the contextual influences. So I think Malaysia and Indonesia have almost similar culture. So we understand each other very well. But if you go out of Malaysia, Indonesia, they may have different cultural norms. For example, tipping, to give tips. In the US, that is actually almost compulsory to give tip to people who help you. I think for Malaysia, that may not be the issue. I mean, if you want to give, that's good, but that is not something that are common, I would say, in Malaysia. So that's the difference. And another thing that you may want to consider, Malaysia and Indonesia, I think the same. We put our shoe outside of our house. We are actually going bare leg, going inside of our home. But in the US or in the European country, you may use your shoes inside the house. So this is very much dependent on the cultural and contextual influence. I want to share with you one advertisement of Hari Raya. This is just to show you the different culture that we do have. So enjoy.
Sampai tu Alfa Bravo masuk.
Jangan lupa share GPS.
Tak ada GPS. Ikut saja Allah.
Roger.
Jom gerak.
Dah lama tak balik raya kampung. Keluarga Tok Wan ni kaki konvoi. Lagi-lagi bila nak pergi beraya rumah saudara. Tapi tiap-tiap tahun selalu tak komplit. Yelah, adik-beradik Tok Wan ada 10 tau.
Right. So this is norm in Malaysia. During Hari Raya celebration, we go from one house to another to celebrate Hari Raya together. And not only that, we will go with convoy, a lot of cars together, going to one house to another. So this is norm. I think it's the same Malaysia, Indonesia. But in the US, you should not go to other people's home uninvited. For us, Hari Raya, you don't have to invite us. We just go to your house. Because that is something that a cultural thing to do. So this family going forecast all over Malaysia to celebrate Hari Raya.
Smart tu hang ni. Hang lagi smart.
Nak mama bagi polis ke?
That is me. I used to do that. If my kids are just making a lot of noise, I will tell them, I'm going to send you to police. But so far, no one get caught yet.
So, mission tahun ni kena make sure beraya semua rumah. Hai, kenyang lah kita.
Sampai dah. Sama-sama.
Tak jumpa. Oh lolo, start dah jejak kasih.
Jom semua. Banyak lagi rumah nak pergi. Over.
Sorry nanti tak sempat nak bayar rumah orang lain. Jom Tok. Raya Express ni. Makan-makan, gosip, lepas tu zas. On the way.
Oh, tak siap. Over. Itu, kami tak tahu jalan.
Hampir straight. Ada simpang 4. Saat ni hang nampak rumah. Depan ada bot.
Ha? Bot?
Rumah nombor 3.
Tak, macam nak ada raya?
Cuk, ikut pangkat. Adik comel ni makcik tau. Yang jaya ni pula.
Kucu pun nak.
Anak buah.
So that is something that we do have. Some of our relative younger than us, but based on rank, they are our aunt. But sometimes those are even bigger than us. They are supposed to be, smaller based on rank. So that is norm in Malaysia, Indonesia, I would say. So if I show this to my American friend, they may feel like, why are you going to these people's house? I mean, it's a lot of food, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of time to prepare. But we just love doing that.
Mai salam untuk Nek. Tak pernah jumpa ni.
Ni anak siapa ni?
Anak Wan Syah. Standard lah konvoi. Ada je nak menyalip ikut.
Jom.
Silakan you all.
That is another thing that we love to use. We don't mind sharing our uncle's car going from one place to another. I think this is very much encapsulate my experience as a Malaysian going Hari Raya. So my kids may just share my sister's car or my brother's car, and their kids can share my car. So we are we are family. So it doesn't mind. I mean, we doesn't mind to share each other's car because we are going to the same place.
Tok. Dah satu Malaysia kita round ni.
Bagi menangis.
Betul ke Tok tahu jalan?
Tahu. Rumah ni challenging sikit. Kita hantar okey lah. Hampir boleh, Nabila.
Hah? Assalamualaikum tu.
Main masuk.
Abang Ari, ni pasal apa abang gaduh sini di jalan ni? Mai.
Dah tu kan rumah dia.
Nabila, cancel order. Halah rumah. Allah.
Alunya.
That is another cultural thing. When we shake hand, we will bow and kiss the hand. That is only in Malaysia and Indonesia. In the US, we don't bow and kiss the hand. No, we don't do that. We just shake hand just like that. But in Malaysia, if the person that we shake hand is a little bit older than us, to show respect, we will kiss hand. I mean, we will shake hand and kiss hand. Okay, let's continue.
Sat.
Wan, gimana lagi ni?
Tinggal beli jajan, Sat.
Sedapnya. Kan elok, Chef? Kumkar. Next, rumah Nik Jah.
Ya. Jom lekat, kita ada 3 rumah lagi.
Yeay, dah rumah nombor 8, 9, 10. Yes, berjaya. Betul cakap kambing. Tok, let's go back. Pengsan.
Alfa Bravo, masuk.
Tu siapa tu?
Tok Ngah, Jang, Makcik. Oh, jumpa lagi.
Kamu ni ikan raya.
Walaupun tadi kita dah pergi rumah mereka. Lah ni, mereka pula bawa rezeki kat kita.
Betul juga. Kenal-kenal saudara, ziarah orang tua. Bila jarang jumpa, setiap saat bersama, besar maknanya. Macam ni barulah raya.
Esok, kombel belah matuk pula nak.
Bestnya. Nak join?
So basically, that is a cultural thing. So that's why I said sentiment is very much dependent on culture. So different culture have their own way to actually share the culture, how they actually see things, the value that they hold. It may be different. For example, as I said, Malaysia, Indonesia may have almost similar culture. We go and kiss hand to our elderly when we actually trying to show that respect. We go and visit uninvited during Hari Raya. And then we don't mind sharing things with our family. So this kind of advert will give different impact to us because we understand the culture. But when I show this to my American students, when I did my Fulbright, they just like, why are you doing that? Don't you think that it is very tedious to go from one house to another? Don't you get stomachache from eating so much? So as I said, different culture, different point of view, different sentiment. And another thing, the factor that influence sentiment is dynamic. Because for example, today you may like it, tomorrow you may hate it. For example, the trend like yang bercanda. So that is actually very viral now. But if you ask 1 month later, even now, it's not already viral anymore, that bercanda thingy. So that's why I said it is very much depending on the event. It is very much dependent on new information because when new information coming, new viral coming, you will forget about bercanda anymore. So that is actually leading to attitude and behavior changes. So all of these are basically sentiment. This the opinion, the emotion, the feeling that you have of something. And today I'm going to talk about the product. What about analytics? So a lot of people talk about analytics because this is like new blood in our computing system. So it is a field of computer science that use mathematics, statistics, and machine learning to find meaningful pattern in data. So okay, you are telling a lot of things using your sentiment online, using social media perhaps. So how are you going to use this data as information? So that's why this is what we do. We use mathematics, statistics, and machine learning and natural language processing. From there, we are trying to discover what are the pattern, how this pattern going up, going down, and what does it mean? Can it help me selling my product better, or can it help me making a better decision to choose which one would be the best? So all of these are basically analytics. So here we are, sentiment analytics. Sometimes we know this as sentiment analysis or opinion mining or emotion AI. It is a process of analyzing a piece of text and identifying opinion and judgment. So basically, people write on social media, especially and how you write, you are using a natural language processing. Natural language processing is our day-to-day communication. We don't talk using machine language 01011111100. No, we don't talk about machine. We are not talking using machine language. We are not talking about assembly language, add, multiply, move. No, we are not even talk using computer language. See out, semicolon, blah 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 blah. Then you close the double bracket and so on. We are not talking that, but we are talking using normal language. If you are using Malay language, so you are talking using Malay language. If you are talking using Indonesian language, fine. I mean, other people will talk to you using Indonesian language, but no one actually talk using computer language. And because of this, we are using natural language processing to understand your sentiment. What are the semantic? What are the meaning of the word that you talk about? And then from there, we are using machine learning. So machine learning is a way to train the computer so that the computer will understand what are we trying to do actually. So from here, the combination of understanding natural language processing and machine learning, then we can actually understand better what are the sentiment and opinion that are expressed in textual data. Of course, we do have different input. Last week, I'm talking about brain signal actually. So that is basically we get the data from the signal of the brain. My PhD is basically speech. So when we speak, we are actually not only the meaning of the word, but the intonation of the way we talk give us information as well. Or even our facial expression, body language. If you talk too fast, what does it mean? If you talk too slow, what does it mean? So there's a lot of input can be used, but for sentiment analytics, we are using text. So whatever that you type, especially in social media, can be used for sentiment analytics. So why we do this? Because we want to determine the emotional tone, positive, negative, neutral, or combination of these three. So it plays a significant role in understanding and responding to a vast amount of textual information available. Because we write, especially those who love social media, TikTok, for example, you just love, right? I mean, this is very much relevant to Twitter. But even Twitter, you have a limitation of word. But people just love writing on Twitter. People my age, my daughter always say that, Mama, orang tua je suka Facebook. Only old people love Facebook. But it's kind of true, okay? Because you youngsters don't like Facebook that much because you prefer IG, Instagram, you prefer TikTok because you love to have instant gratification. But for us, we just love to see things, read, and especially at the comment part, seeing people actually quarreling with each other. So those are actually things that people in my age love to do. So I'm not that old, but I'm not that young. So these all information are actually providing valuable insight for business, researchers, decision makers across the domain. Because we want to know what other people are telling us. Is it good? Is it bad? Or they don't care? So how to make them care? How to make them react? So these are all sentiment analytics can actually getting all the information. So it is widely used in marketing, customer feedback analysis, social media monitoring, especially for politics. Yeah, sentiment analytics is very important because you want to know whether you are making a popular, what we call it, popular decision or not. Because when we do have a democratic, the more people like us, the more people vote for us, is better rather than we are doing not popular decision. So if you are a good politician, you may want to actually consider sentiment analytics because it will help you build up your persona. That's number one. And you trying to actually gather as much voters as possible because this can actually help you to do a lot more things. So why sentiment analytics? As I said, we want to have people's opinion, and usually they are very honest because if you do questionnaire, sometimes people just take, they don't like to actually tell you the truth. But if you do sentiment analytics for your product, a lot of people will give you honest review, especially as long as it's not paid. Yeah, as long as it's not paid, because paid review sometimes, for example, the food, actually the food tastes bad, but because you are paid, you say, wow, very nice, it tastes good, you should come and buy at this shop, or you do mukbang, you eat a lot and then you throw it out a lot. So again, it's very much dependent on what are you trying to do. But if you want to have a very honest feedback, so you should basically listen and read more on the review of the product, especially for example in um, all the platform we do have review, especially like Shopee. You can read over there, and that is a very good feel for you if you want to if you want to do your script C, if you want to do your final year project. It's a very good title to do because if you show similar product to different part of Indonesia even, it will give different sentiment. Okay, if you don't believe me, you should try doing this for your script C project. It will actually show you different thing, yeah. So understanding sentiment expressed by user about product help individual and companies make informed decision, enhance user experience, and of course improve the overall satisfaction. So why we want to understand market sentiment? So why it is important? So we know exactly how the customer and prospective customer feel about them. And then we want to have all from this feedback, we want to have an informed decision. Because as I said, doing questionnaire sometimes may not tell you the actual feeling of the user. So you want to really listen to your user, really listen to your customer, what they say about your product. Then you can make a better decision. And of course, if you ask human to do a sentiment analysis, for example, if I ask you one by one, how do you feel of my presentation today? Do you like it? If you are worried that I will get offense or I will get sad, you will say that my presentation are good. But your good may be different to another person good. Some people say, okay lah, not bad. Or some people say, oh, very good. She can actually explain very well. Or sometimes people just don't like to listen to my voice, for example. So they will say, no, it's terrible. I don't understand at all. So all of these are very subjective because it depends on personal experience, the thought, the belief. What is your opinion? So it's very much different, yeah. But if you do automated sentiment analysis, you will have uniform criteria, similar criteria. So you have a fair judgment. So it is consistent, it is not influenced by emotion, and it will help you to gain better results. So as I said, typically for sentiment analysis or sentiment analytics, we have negative, neutral, and positive. Negative, you hate it, you dissatisfied, you just don't like it. Or neutral, okay lah. Like Malaysian always say, okay lah. The lah part is very much Malaysian. Okay lah, not bad, but not that good either. So okay. So that is neutral. And positive, way best, way short, gila, serious. That is positive. So if we want to actually put it in more description form, so a positive sentiment reflects favorable or optimistic feeling. It gives you a joy. It gives you a happy feeling. Satisfaction, yes, you agree with that. Approval or excitement, your best way. Those are actually positive sentiment. So people can actually engage in positive behavior. Of course, if you like things, you will tell good things about that particular product. And from the positive review, you can attract more people buying the product. So that is basically positive sentiment. Negative sentiment, you did not favor or very pessimistic. Aku tak tahulah. The product so lousy. Even the price are so cheap, but the material, you can see through the cloth. You can actually taste the salt. Too salty. It tastes terrible. I hate it. So you can, again, you can influence other people. The other people may just don't even want to try to buy that product. So that is how strong the opinion can be. It can be positive, it can be negative, and it can be neutral. Neutral means you don't care. Okay lah. You don't have strong positive or negative feelings. It is balanced. Basically, it is a sense of indifference. You don't care. Lantak lah, whatever lah, don't care lah. Okay lah, if you want to go, you go. If you don't want to go, also can. So those are basically neutral sentiment. So sentiment plays a significant role in decision making, individual and collective level. And if it is positive, favorable decision. If negative sentiment, caution and avoidance. So how sentiment analytics are used? Of course, the first one, this one is very normal. Customer feedback analysis. You want to know what are the customers saying about your product. So by understanding sentiment, you can actually improve. Okay, they said that the product should have better packaging. So you can improve on packaging. So it should have, different color, for example. Then you can actually add more colors and so on. And it can actually give you market research. It provides valuable insight for market trend. For example, now people love to wear bigger clothes. So any sizes can actually wear the clothes. Compared to previously, we want to have a really tailor-made clothes. So that one is very limited to those who are thin can wear. Those are a little bit bigger may not be able to wear. And because of this, we want to do the market research. Which one that people want to wear more? And then, of course, user experience enhancement, consumer empowerment. Consumer empowerment means you are giving the power to the customer and the market listen to their say. What did they say? Or they like this product. Of course, then we should give them more of that particular product. So we are actually giving the power to consumer, to the customer, to actually tell the market what they want. And from here, you can actually extract the information from whatever the review that they have given. And of course, marketing and advertising strategy. You can have a very personalized marketing and advertising strategy. For example, people like me, I always watch cat clip, cat or dogs or anything like that. I just love cats. I have 10 at home. So of course, for marketing for me, anything to do with cat, I will associate it with positive sentiment. Anything to do with dogs, I will be associated with positive sentiment. Of course, maybe they want to sell me electric bulb. As long I see the cat showing a picture of cat and a bulb, then I associate positive feeling. And because of that, the sentiment may be positive. So that is how the emotion, the sentiment are being manipulated for marketing and advertising strategy. But word of caution, yeah, word of caution. Not everything, yeah, not everything can use what we call it sentiment analysis. Because if you do it wrongly, there will be a disaster. Because sometimes it's not of course people will tell you the reality of the situation. Yes, people are telling you that they hate it, but sometimes we need to handle with caution, because you don't want to actually listen too much, but you also want to listen to the people, but you don't want to listen too much because it may disrupt a lot of things. So as I said, potential disasters, if you are making wrong sentiment analysis results, it will give you misguided decision making, because you want to base on your decision based on the result of sentiment, and yet your sentiment analytics give you wrong information. Of course, it will give you misguided decision making. For example, the sentiment analytics say that blue is the color for Hari Raya 2024, but actually it's not. The classifier make a wrong classification. So you stock up a lot of blue color clothes for Hari Raya, but no one buy it. Why? Because they don't feel that. Or you ask people who love blue only, you don't ask people who love pink. So of course people who love blue will say that they love blue, but you have to spread so that you will get the overall sentiment rather than very specific group of people. So that's why I said cater with caution, because it will give different results. Poor customer service, loss of trust, bias and fairness concern. As I said earlier, if you ask people who love blue, of course they will say blue is the best. But not everyone loves blue. So that's why you need to have, bigger number of people who give you honest feedback. Then you will have better understanding of the market. And of course, miss opportunity, because it will lead to lack of recognition for successful product or services. So let us take a look at type of sentiment. Basically, we have the most normal one, of course, positive, neutral, negative. And then it can actually extend beyond than that. Okay, let us look at 4 different type of sentiment analysis. The first one is fine grain, or sometimes you call it graded sentiment analysis. This one, as I told you, we use a lot in Shopee, especially. We use star. So star can be interpreted as 5 star is the best, 1 star is worse, or we can actually have very positive, somewhat positive, neutral, somewhat negative, and very negative. Usually we use 5. Why? It's easier to actually classify. If you start to use 7 or 9, too many grade. So too many classes to grade. So it may be difficult. Typically we just use 5. 3 may not actually represent how we feel. Positive, neutral, negative. It may not actually reflect what we want to actually tell. But 5 is just nice. 5 is the best. 1 is the worst. 3, okay lah. Or what we call it as neutral. And then we have also aspect-based sentiment analysis, where we want to know, okay, we have a product, for example, like this, my phone. So we want to know exactly where it is, what we call it, where this is actually, what kind of aspect that I love most? Is it the camera? Is it the what we call it? Is it the screen? Is it the color? So that is basically very much, scope into the product that we want to see. So that is what we call as aspect based, not the product as a whole, but the characteristic of the product. And then, of course, we do have emotion detection and recognition. This is very much dependent on text that we write. So not only we have positive, negative, and neutral, but we want to know, do you love it? Do you like to use this? Are you happy when using this? Or does that make you feel sad? So for example, a lot of lexicon are used. Lexicon is actually a list of words that we associate with emotion. For example, happy. So you want to say senang. Senang is equal to happy. Marah, maybe benci. So that is equal to hatred. Hatred is actually negative emotion. So those are actually what sentiment analysis are trying to do. But sometimes we do have different word, but we are trying to have it differently. For example, in this slide, sick. That is sick. Actually, the word sick, the connotation is bad, but sick means that product is good. Hebat though, mantul, for example, mantap betul. So sometimes people may express differently, and because of that, we have to know what are the contexts that these words are being used. Because we, for example, like sick, as I said, sick is actually bad connotation, but actually in this example, we are telling that the product are good. So we need to actually know exactly the context that it is being used. And of course, intent sentiment analysis. So intent sentiment analysis is very much dependent on is it appreciation, is it complaint, question, or what are you trying to actually look at? So these are actually very much depending on the work that we want to do. But this is very difficult. It's just a concept, and it's trying to use a long short-term memory to actually categorize the text. So as I said, this is very much ongoing research. And then, as I said, it's a very good field for you to do your scriptsy. So how sentiment analysis work? We have 3 types of sentiment analysis. As I said, either it is rule-based, automatic, or hybrid. Rule-based is very simple. We get the text manually. Then from the text, we actually label them accordingly. Okay, for example, benci means negative. Suka means positive. Okay means neutral. So these are the kind of things that are being extracted. So the first step, we find the word, we have the connotation. Is it positive, negative, or what? Or neutral? And then we calculate how many positive words in that sentence, how many negative sentiment of that sentence, how many neutral. And if negative is more, of course, then that particular sentence are positive. If negative is more, then the whole thing are negative. If they are balanced, it is supposed to be neutral. However, you have to actually make sure that it is very much dependent on how it is being used. Because again, sometimes the way we talk can hide a lot of things. So it is very complex. And if you want to add more rules, it can get more complex. However, the accuracy is good, but it may not be able to actually encapsulate, because we write a lot, we use a lot of words. Can we label the words, each and every one? So that is the kind of question that we should ask if we are using rule-based technique. Then we introduce machine learning. Machine learning is almost identical to rule-based. The difference is that we train our machine learning algorithm to learn. So of course, we extract the data collection. We get the data from the social media. From the social media, we throw out all the unnecessarily word. And then we get the main word. For example, makanan. We want the word makan. The root word, we get the features and we train our classifier. And then from the classifier, we give them new word. Can the classifier learn about the sentiment of the new word? So that is basically a concept of machine learning. So we do feature extraction from text. As I said, feature extraction, we are calculating the word, how many frequency positive word, how many frequency negative word, how many frequency neutral word. And then we will do a lot of text vectorization using back of words or back of n-gram with the frequency. Again, we calculate the frequency of the word. And then we put all the information inside the classification. I'm just showing you 4. Of course, there are more. For example, knife-based linear regression, SVM, support vector machine. And now we are talking about deep learning. So we are trying to emulate how brain actually works. So we are using deep learning. Previously, we have MLP, multi-layer perceptron. We are trying to emulate how the brain functions. So that's the difference. And hybrid, of course, we are combining manual, machine learning, combined together. And by hybrid approach, it should be better. So to encapsulate what we have discussed, we have textual data analysis. We have all the text, and then we want to see what is it positive, neutral, or negative. We have automated processing. This is basically we are trying to leverage automated method using NLP, natural language processing, because human talk using natural language processing. Then sentiment from the word, what are they represent? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it neutral? Very negative or very neutral? So that is basically fine-grained analytics. And then we ask our machine learning to actually learn about the word, whether it is positive, negative, neutral, and then it can actually give us more information because machine can do processing faster than us. But of course, there are challenges. For example, we do have sarcasm, like, yeah, I like it. It means I don't like it. That is sarcasm. Yeah, buy all. Yeah, buy. I'm not telling the person to buy. So that is sarcasm. And ambiguity of language, for example, just now we discussed about sick. Sick should be bad, but actually sick is sick. So we are telling the product's good. And then because all the word need to be labeled, so we do have problem with inter-annotator. Because inter-annotator, you want people to actually label, okay, happy, suka, it's supposed to be positive. But is it very positive or is it just positive? So to have a label that is consistent is one thing. Another thing is that you and I may have different argument. And because of that, machine learning need the label data. So that is I would say, a challenge for us. So if you can see here, if you do have time actually, go and Google about Zoo Negara Oyen. Oyen is Oren, this Oren cat, but she or he stayed in the capybara. So even that, it can be a challenge, I said. So let me share and conclude my sharing today with advertisement from Thailand. This is just to show the sentiment.
ร้อนเบอร์3สิทำไงดีอ่ะถ้าบุหรี่พัดลมฮาตาริไปอะค่ะมันดีไงดีหรอ
So that's why I say sentiment analytics is very powerful. You can actually use a lot of things and do a lot of things using sentiment. It can help you, but you have to use it with caution because otherwise it will just disrupt the whole thing. So with that, I thank you. And if you do have questions, please do ask. Thank you very much.
Okay, I would like to say a very much thank you for the presentation and for the amazing explanation about analyst sentiment on products. Uh, and for the next session, there will be a Q&A session that like I would said earlier. So the participants are welcome to express their questions. The participant could ask from the chat box, or you could directly turn on your microphone and ask the question. So, but because of the time limit, I will limit the question for 2 or 3 questions only for this session. So, for the participant who would like to ask, the time is yours. I will wait for some minutes. Okay, there are the first questions. Okay,
Alright.
the first question. I will read it directly. So there's Visa Asmara from Erlang University. She asking, so is it useless to do a sentiment analysis when the subjects we want to analyze are clearly have a bad or negative sentiments? Oh, I get this question. So the example is when there are a phenomenal about some actress or some viral person in social media who already have a bad negative. Is it when we do the sentiment analysis about this person or the subjects, uh, could we say it's useless because the output is already clearly it's negative?
Right. Thank you very much, Visa. Oh, your name is nice, Visa Asmara. Right. I think to answer your question, again it depends on what kind of question that you want to do. For example, you already know that the subject clearly have bad or negative sentiment. If you ask me, uh, it doesn't really add to new insight, right? You already know that people don't like it. So why bother? So I would like to actually advise, if you want to do sentiment analysis, do things that people do not know. For example, you are not sure the individual will like or not like. So it will give you more information. If you already know, then why you want to do the sentiment, right? Because you already know already. For example, I cannot eat rawan setan. It's just too hot for me. I cannot eat. It will give my stomach problem. So of course I will say, no. You can eat rawan malaikat, perhaps not that hot. But again, it is better to have honest opinion. Sometimes you want to know how bad people think of the product or of the subject. So sometimes we think that it is bad, but how bad? So if to answer your question, Visa, I think if you want to know how bad, although we know it will be bad, but how bad? So that is something that you want to consider. So I think yes, although we already know the outcome would be bad, but I think to know how bad is also important for you to do some corrective action. Otherwise, we cannot do any corrective action because we do not know. If it is not that bad, of course, we can actually have to apologize, for example. Or if it is very, very, very bad, so we need to do something more significant to actually correct the situation. That is my answer.
Okay, thank you for the answer. The Visa Asmara also say clear enough for the answer. Okay, thank you. For the next question, I would like to please my friend of there are already the next question. So Marvin Monica asked the question. Marvin from Erlang University.
Okay. I think I do understand the question. Thank you, Melvin. So, all right. Sentiment analysis is like any machine learning things. The more data you have, the better accuracy you will get. For now, we don't have any minimum requirement. No minimum requirement because how to say? Because as long as you give enough input to the classifier will classify. But the most important part is to have a good data. What does it mean by good data? Good data means the data that is not biased, not only negative or not only positive or not only neutral. It must have different classifiers, different classes. It must have the negative, it must have the neutral, and it must have the positive. Then only the classifier will understand. So to answer your question, how much input, the more the better. For example, if you have a product of, just now I show you the fan, right? If you do sentiment analytics for 10 people, it's not enough. You can actually use your eyes to actually classify who is giving positive, negative, and neutral review. But if you have more data, for example, if you have like 1,000 people review for one versus 6,000 people review for one product, of course, the 6,000 will give you better accuracy. But if 6,000 people are lying for their review, it doesn't really make sense, right? Again, the quality of data is very important. You need to have a good, what we said, a good data. The data should be honest. The data should be reflecting to your actual what you feel. For example, if you dislike, it's supposed to be clearly say that you dislike the product. If the sentiment are good, clearly say that you like the product. As I said, if you said that the product are, I hate it, but actually you want to tell, I used to say it to my friend, aku benci lah, kau cantik sangat. What is the sentiment? Is it negative? No, it's not. Aku benci kau sebab kau cantik sangat. It's not that I hate my friend. No. It means that I'm so jealous that she is so beautiful. It's a positive thing, actually. I'm praising my friend. It's not that I'm hating her. So that's why the data that you use, sometimes you use sarcasm. Sarcasm is very difficult to actually detect. For example, do you like to go and eat to this shop? Yeah, suka. Actually, you don't like it, right? You don't like it. So to answer your question, how many data? The more the better. Any minimum requirement? Nope. But as I said, if you do have more data, but even if you have a lot of data, but your data are not clean, that doesn't work as well. So good data, enough numbers, that will help you a lot. If that answer your question, Melvin.
Okay, thank you for the answer. I hope the answer would satisfy Marvin. Okay, so there is one question left for this session. So the participant, if want to ask a question, could directly ask the question from the chat box or turn on your microphone. I will wait about 1 to 2 minutes for the questions.
So no more question perhaps from the student?
Maybe because there are no questions from the participant, I would like to ask some questions. So for the disclaimer first, I am not a big fan, and the knowledge about analyst sentiment for me is a little not much. So I would like to ask a question regarding the machine learning approach when we want to extract the data from the analyst sentiment. So the after we gather the data and the input, we could use a lot of method machine learning like SVM, naive Bayes, deep learning, and so on. So, in your opinion, which method are the best in analyzing sentiment?
Right. Thank you, Fikri. To answer your question, there is not the best classifier because it is very much dependent on the data. So some classifier can work well with certain data, some classifier doesn't work well with the with the data. So if you ask me which classifier is the best, no one can actually claim superiority. Nope, cannot, because it is very much dependent on the data. So sometimes if you change the data, some classifier A will give you better accuracy. When you change another data, classifier B may give you better performance. So to answer your question, Fikri, nope, there is no classifier that can claim the superiority provided, but you have to actually train and test one by one. Of course, it takes time, but I think that is the only way to actually do the analysis. Otherwise, nope.
Okay, thank you for the answer. It's clear that so we have to try one by one so we could get the best output and the best result for analyst sentiment.
Yep.
Okay, thank you for the answer once again. Because the time is already over and it's already three questions are already asked. We move to the next sessions. The next sessions, like I would say earlier in the early class, there will be a photo sessions. So the participant, I would like to say, please to turn on your camera and we to have a photo session for a while, just for 1 or 2 minutes. It's not gonna be a long time. So once again, I would like to say please for my friends to turn on your camera so we could take a picture together. Okay, I will wait for some minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, to while my friends are maybe prepared to for their best outfit to have a photo sessions. Okay, thank you. Maybe one more minutes. I will wait for the participants to turn the camera. Okay, maybe that's pretty enough. So I would like to say I want to for the operator Riza Luki, could you please take the picture and guide the picture session, photo session?
Okay. 1, 2, and 3. Once again, 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Okay, the photo session are already finished. Once again, I like to say thank you for all of the participants who have turned on their camera in photo sessions. While the sessions are already end, we are moving to the next agenda. That are the closing. So once again, I would like to say a very much thank you and a big appreciations for Associate Professor Dr. Haslinda Kamarudin for presenting this session and this guest lecture. I hope we could meet again in the next guest lecture. So, and for additional in the chat box, I will drop the feedback form. So, and the participants are allowed and are pleased to to sh- to fill the presence form. Okay, because the sessions are already end, uh, allowed me to close these sessions. And once again, thank you for all of the participants who already participate in this guest lecture. And a big appreciation for Associate Professor Dr. Nurhasinda Kamarudin. And Master of Ceremony in this session, would like to say thank you and apologize if there was some mistakes that I have been done in this session. Thank you once again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody, and you are all pleased to leave the session and the Zoom. Thank you.
Right, thank you.